Hey, everybody, welcome to the Soccer Sharps, a soccer predictions podcast. Jordan, it's an EPL midweek. We've got all EPL on this show. The title race is heating up. The relegation race is heating up at the bottom of the table. We've got all that and more. So stick around, baby. Here we go.
Martial. Herrera. Ibrahimovic! Oh my God, an insane goal! I've just seen the most insane goal I have ever seen on a football pitch. Balotelli. Aguero!
Well, it is all EPL this midweek for us. We're not diving into the cups. There's Coppa Italia. There's Coupe de France. There's some other cups. Pokal.
Copa del Rey.
Copa del Rey. We're not diving into those. It's too terrifying to bet on the cups. But we are going to look at this midweek EPL. Jord, we've seen Arsenal get one over the line against Chelsea. They remain at the top of the table. Your Irons failed to win. Nottingham Forest failed to get points. And Tottenham all failed to get points. So that last final relegation spot still up for grabs, though nothing has changed. But before we dive into this week's action, Jord, how you doing? How was your weekend?
Doing well, Dev. Weekend was a mixed bag. I ended up pushing most of my bets. I gave out 7 plays. 4 of them were pushes, including Roma being a winner and turning into a push with about 90 seconds left in the match. So irritating, but hey, it's better than a loss, right?
Yep, better than a loss. Push is a gift at times. And I believe you predicted that because I said, there's a lot of these 1-goal spreads. And you said, yeah, they're all going to push.
They're all push. They sure did.
And you were right. Well, look, no pushes. We're going for winners this week. If you guys are new, please give us a like, a follow, a subscribe. It goes a long way to helping your karma for your bets, as well as helping us out. The show is for free, and we do appreciate it. But, Jord, we're going to do this thing just in chronological order. We're not going to mess around. We're not going to look at the big games, quote unquote. We're going to go in chronological order. It starts on Tuesday with the Battle of the Bees. It's Bournemouth against Brentford. This one sees Bournemouth as home favorites of a full goal here, -1, and the total set at a flat 3. Both teams to score yes in this one, -200. So the bookies think both teams are starting this one at 1-1. And you got that Bournemouth -1 spread. A little suspicious to me, but what do you think about this matchup, Jordan?
Well, Def, the first thing I thought of when I saw this matchup was goals. Goals. And you might look at that and say, well, hang on, not so fast. These teams have actually, in recent weeks, had pretty uneventful matches in terms of goal scoring. Of course, not for Brentford just this past weekend in a 4-3 thriller with Burnley. But before that, we've actually seen under 2.5 goals in 4 of the last 5 for Bournemouth and under 2.5 goals in 7 of the last 9 for Brentford. So why do I see goals in this one, Dev? It's the tactics. It's the way these teams play and the way they match up together. It just leads to chances, leads to opportunities, and leads to goals. And maybe then there's no surprise that if you look at the head-to-head data between these teams, we're seeing over 2.5 goals in 5 of the last 6 meetings, with both teams scoring in 5 of the last 6 meetings as well. You see what I'm saying? So maybe individually they don't have eventful games all the time, but when they match up, we do see eventful matches. And again, I think that's down to the tactics. And look, both of these teams safe. There's an outside chance Brentford could get into Europe, but not really any pressure. I think this is one we could see as a pretty entertaining fixture, Dev. So I went with the classic, both teams to score and over 2.5 goals, -125.
Right on, Jordan. I'm right there with you. I'm going with the flat 3 here, over 3 goals in the match at even money. Look, is there a chance either team wins 3-0? Yeah, maybe. So I will take that push on my side. Slightly better price on that as well. And you mentioned the records for unders for these two teams coming into this match. But we have seen Bournemouth and Brentford back-to-back in the XG table here, 6th and 7th in XG in the EPL this season. So just behind the big boys, these two can create chances. And one to watch out for, I almost added this to my card, but I guess his name's just Ryan, young Brazilian kid. Ryan. Single name. He's Brazilian, so he's good. He's only got the single name. But him to score any time in this is 2-1 plus 200. You can get him to score or assist at around plus 120. Now, this guy has scored 2 goals and assisted once in his 4 EPL matches. He's an 18-year-old from Brazil. He scored, I think, 14 goals in 30 or so matches. I'm sorry, I don't have the exact number in front of me at the moment because I didn't make it my official play. But someone to look at. If you think there's going to be goals in this match, they got to come from somewhere. And he's sort of been the Semenyo replacement for this Bournemouth side.
Yeah, I like that, Dev. He almost scored what would have been one of the goals of the season against my West Ham United, but he hit the crossbar at the end of it. Went on an incredible run and just couldn't get that finish just an inch more inside.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that was unreal. Love seeing young Brazilians doing stuff in the EPL. Well, let's move on, Jordan, to another matchup taking place on Tuesday, and it's Wolverhampton against Liverpool. This one sees Liverpool as road favorites here of 1.25 goals, minus 1.25. The total set at a flat 3. Jordan, 10 of the last meetings between these two 8 have been won by Liverpool. So is there any chance they don't come away with the 3 points here at Wolves?
There's a chance for sure. I have, as we talked about on the show, the Liverpool haven't been entirely convincing lately. They had to scrape over the line at the City Ground with a little VAR assistance there, deep into stoppage time. They took care of business against my Irons at Anfield, though, this past weekend in a 5-2 match. But if you look a little deeper into the stats of that match, they only had 1.75 XG, scored 5 goals off of that.
Yeah,
West
crazy.
Ham had 1.84 XG. And, them's the breaks. Each team created 2 big scoring chances, but Liverpool got the 5 goals. 3 of them were wicked deflections. There was an own goal. Tough day at the office for West Ham. But on the Liverpool side of this, the team that's involved in this match, I'm not sure they've been convincing, especially on the road. And this Wolves team, Dev, showing some fight. I mean, it's not mathematical that they're down, but they're down, right? We all know they're down. They've done the job of not being the worst team in the history of the EPL. They've surpassed Derby County's points tally with months to go. Which begs the question, how the fuck did that Derby County team only get 10 points? The world may never know. But yeah, so Dev, they're showing more under Rob Edwards, and not necessarily always turning him into wins, but this last time out they did get a win, 2-0 against Aston Villa, a team who not long ago were amongst the teams being talked about in the title race. That's fallen away now. Now they're shooting for Champions League, but we said it on this show. We thought they'd regress, and that's starting to happen. But take nothing away from Wolves there. 2-0 victory for them. We know, of course, just a couple matches back, they had a draw with Arsenal, 2-2 draw, came back from 2-0 down in that one to get a point. That was also at Molineux, just like the Aston Villa match was over the weekend. Well, they're at home here again, Dev, and I'm here to tell you that spread is too big. Plus 1.25 for Wolves at home. You can move this because it's plus 103. I can move it to plus 1.5 on the Asian handicap at minus 129. That price is gone now. Sorry, got it earlier, but I think it's still playable between minus 135, minus 140 right now. Still like it there. Get that 1.5 on your side instead of the baby hook there. That's where I'm going, Dev. I'm going to do it.
Yeah, home dog, Jordan. This is interesting because we're going to be slightly oppo here, though I guess we could both actually cash because I've got Liverpool to win the game on the money line, but you got to get that on side. It's a little bit too short at minus 264, so I'm adding Liverpool to have the most corners in the match. I expect them to do most of the heavy lifting in this one, containing most possession, Wolves sitting back and trying to counter. That should lead to more corner kicks for Liverpool. Wolves have given up the second most corners in the league this season. Liverpool are accruing the fourth most. So yeah, a little bit of an oppo here, Jordan. Oh, but those two put together, most corners for Liverpool and Liverpool to win the match, plus 120. They've done this in 5 straight head-to-head meetings against Wolves. So hopefully they'll keep it together. They should win this game. Liverpool, I mean, they need to just to get back up into the Champions League places, quite frankly. They're in 5th right now, although a 5th place will probably go to the EPL for Champions League next season, we would assume, based on how Europe's been going. But look, yeah, they, 8 of the last 10 victories against Wolves. So different angles for both of us, Jord, but I like where your head's at, and, hopefully we can both cash here. Let's just do a 1-0. Liverpool has 2 corners and Wolves have 1. It's a terrible, boring game.
That'll work. Or 2-1, 3-2. I'd be down for an entertaining game where we both cash. Totally possible. We just got to thread that needle.
Interesting tidbit about this game is these two teams turn around on Saturday and they play again in the FA Cup. Same
Always
fixture
weird.
at Wolves. Yeah. So how does that play into the game theory? Then after that FA Cup, Liverpool then turn their attention to the Champions League. So a lot going on here. I don't know. What do Wolves do? Do they try to show something different? Put it all in the FA Cup match? They're probably going down anyway, right?
Yeah, I think they probably go for it. So it's weird though how often this happens across all the big 5 leagues in Europe, where you get 2 teams meeting in the league and meeting in the cup just a few days later. Really strange. It's happened at least 4 or 5 times this season already that I can think of, and often the results are wildly different. I'm thinking of most recently. Atletico Madrid, Real Betis. Atleti won at Betis 5-0 in Copa del Rey. Then they played each other days later at Atleti. Yeah, they lost outright. So
crazy.
Weird. Very.
Yeah, it's odd how that happens. So we'll see how this one goes. But you guys, I see some of you guys watching this live. We do appreciate it. But jump in the chat. Let us know what you think about some of these picks, what you think you're going to be on in these midweek EPL games. We'd love to hear from you. We'll throw a chat up on the screen, and we'll talk about the matches. But sure, let's move on to our first Wednesday matchup, and this is going to see the current title, what do I say, front runners? In first place, it's Arsenal, traveling to the south coast of Brighton and Hove Albion. This one sees Brighton as home dogs of 3/4 of a goal, and the total is set at 2.5. Arsenal taking care of Chelsea in a very odd match. I don't know what to think of that. I don't know what is a foul and corner kicks anymore. Guys are pinning arms behind their back and slamming faces into goalkeeper fists, and balls are bouncing off of Declan Rice's elbow. Well, no, it's not. I don't understand what a handball is. The game's gone. Game's gone.
Game's gone.
But what do you think about this matchup?
That you said it. They took care of business against Chelsea. Arsenal did. But boy, were they hanging on at the end. This weird mentality thing that we see with Arsenal, they get a lead, and then rather than kill the game off, they just try to protect what they have. What we have, we hold. And then they just end up moving further and further back and absorbing more and more pressure. And boy, did it get nervy for them at the end of that match. Chelsea, despite being down to 10 men, were just peppering the goal with chances, sending balls into the box. It was nervy. Raya had to make some saves. Interesting. But listen, we're seeing it from Man City as well. And we'll get to them later. But look, for this match, I think Arsenal have to win this here. I know Brighton have put together a couple of performances lately, taking them out of that dreadful run that they were on. They do have back-to-back wins now, 2-0 against Brentford, and then most recently they beat Forest at home. So before that, though, Dev, they hadn't had a win in 6 Premier League matches on the bounce, and Hertzler's job was being discussed as possibly the next manager to be sacked. Well, he's quieted those voices now with 2 wins, but I'm not necessarily convinced they've turned much around. I think Arsenal have to be eyeing this one for 3 points. They kind of have to do that with all their matches at this point. But this is one I think they should be able to do that with. Not totally sold on taking that spread, though, Dev, because I'm not sure that they do win this by margin. I want the opportunity for a full cash. We talked about it on the show, right? I took just over the weekend, I took Arsenal -1 because I didn't want to play this exact spread or this exact money line, -163. So I took the -1 and I got a push. If I'd taken that money line, I'd be cashing. Wouldn't have cared about the juice. So, as they say, only juice if it loses. Am I right? But listen, I'm still not comfortable with that price. I don't take anything shorter than -150 for my official plays. Neither do you. I'm going with Arsenal on the money line, and I'm tacking on Arsenal to have over 1.5 corners in the first half. And you might ask why I'm splitting it with the half. It's because they have covered that first half over 1.5 corners in 9 straight Premier League matches. In the second half of a lot of these games, they don't go on to have a ton of corners. Sometimes they do, but it's not as consistent as in the first half where we've seen them be much better. Again, much like Man City. So I just want to have the first half corners there where they're coming out of the traps, trying to put Brighton under pressure and hopefully getting at least 2 corners. Tack that onto the money line, Dev, comes in at +105.
Nice, Jordan. Yeah, good way to attack it. We've got Bob in the chat. He says both teams to score -106. That's better price than we've got on the screen here. We've got both teams to score yes at -110, so 4 cents better. And he follows it up by saying if you add on the over 2.5 goals, it's +160. It's not a bad way to take it. Look, I ended up passing on this match. I can't figure out Brighton. I don't understand them. I haven't gotten them right. They're super inconsistent. I don't know which team's going to show up. So not for me as a gambler. Now, the Arsenal side you mentioned, I mean, are they going to get a lead? Or to your first half corners point, are they going to get a lead and then just like sit back and try to absorb pressure like they did against 10-man Chelsea? That was insane. I couldn't believe what I was watching. I was like, they're going to blow this. They're going to end up dropping points and lose this title race. I think that one of the best things happening for them is that their game is kicking off at the same time as Man City, so they don't have to like feel that pressure already of them creeping up, even though they've got that game in hand. Look, they just have to win every game, and then they win the Premier League, right? So same with Manchester City.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just glad we got a title race. This is fun. At both ends of the table are looking more interesting than they have in the past couple seasons at this time. So that's good. So Tail Bob, both teams scoring over 2.5 +160. Love the price on that. Or Tail Jord, who's got Arsenal to win and over 1.5 corners in the first half. Can't wait to see how you spelled that out.
Specifically.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how you spelled that out on the official plays card.
The suspense is killing you.
Well, George, let's move on to a team that's near and dear to your heart. It's West Ham United traveling to Fulham. Fulham in this one are home favorites of 1/4 goal, and the total is set at 2.75. George, Fulham dispatching Tottenham over the weekend. I knew it too. I wanted to be on it, and I got scared. West Ham, we both backed them to cover a large spread at Liverpool, and they came close. You mentioned before that Liverpool, a couple of wonder goals kept them in that thing, and West Ham almost only lost by 1. But they remain in this relegation battle, needing points everywhere. What do you think about this matchup, Jord? London derby, by the way.
London derby, indeed, Dev. And over the seasons, it's been a relatively happy hunting ground for West Ham over at Fulham. There have been some blips in there, but generally do better against Fulham on the road than at home. They aren't the only team like that for West Ham. But, Dev, we talked about on the last show, I said that West Ham's survival hopes would not hinge on away at Anfield. And that wouldn't be one that they circled on the calendar to pick up 3 points in. This is one they've got circled on the calendar, Dev. They got to get something from this match. Obviously, it was lucky. We weren't expecting a win for West Ham at Anfield, and it was lucky that while they did lose, Forest and Spurs also lost. So as you said at the top of the show, everything stays the same for another week. Well, this is one you got to pick up points from if you're West Ham, because, there aren't any easy games in the Premier League, but there are easier games than others on paper, and you're running out of games. You got to pick up points somewhere. So is a draw enough? We'll see. But a loss, can't do it. Just can't do it. The next game, by the way, Manchester City. So got to pick up some points here. And I think they'll come out and try to do it. I think there's every chance that they will go gung-ho for this win. And I don't know that they'll get it, but I'm fairly confident that they don't get beat. So I decided to take West Ham on the double chance, Dev, but that's obviously a little bit short. As you can see on the card here, they're getting a quarter of a goal at even money. I moved that in my favor to get the full double chance plus a half a goal. And I tacked on over 1.5 goals in the match. I thought about being a little greedier, tacking on both teams to score. Looked at that West Ham team total long and hard. There might be some other props and things that make my card. Do check out the Discord. There's a link to join in the description. Free to join, by the way. We do have extra plays that we pop in there as well. So some other stuff might make my card, but my official play for this one on the podcast is going to be West Ham double chance and over 1.5 goals, bringing in that 1-1, bringing in a 2-0 for West Ham, although I don't think they keep a clean sheet.
Yeah, Jordan. Well, I like the way you're going. You're doing the hand ringer. That's what we call Jordan here, the hand ringer, because he's got to ring his hands. He's a little nervous. Yeah, I just decided to go with the classic here, Jordan. Both teams to score an over 2.5 comes in at even money. It's a little bit odd when I look at West Ham having under 2.5 goals in 4 of their last 5 matchups, because the eye test says that should not be the case. I feel like they should have goals everywhere. I mean, the West Ham Bournemouth match particularly was odd that ended 0-0. You had West Ham had 3.27 xG in that match, and you're telling me they couldn't come away with a goal? Crazy. Maddening for West Ham fans, absolutely. Maddening for overs bettors as well. So, I'm hoping that kind of flash in a pan is maybe done. And, this Fulham side, outside chance at Europe, maybe. I don't know. Probably not. But they've seen both teams scoring an over 2.5 in 3 straight matches. So, I just feel like the way both teams are playing end to end, West Ham have been much, much better under Nuno. So I hope that they are able to stay up. And Fulham's been one of my favorite teams to watch because they're just so much fun. A lot of attacking talent. Iwobi had an unbelievable goal on the weekend. Did you
nice
see
goal.
That?
I did.
Yeah, from way outside the box. Love it. So that's it for me, George. Both teams scored over 2.5 at even money.
I think that's fair enough, Dev. Not a bad shout. I was actually kind of surprised to see it lined at 2.75 and not 3. As Evan points out in the chat, he likes over 2.5, which you can play at minus 130. Yeah, makes sense to me. We see that. We see 3 goals in almost every Fulham match, it feels like, these days.
Yeah, and could it be a 3-0 either way if you don't want to tack on that both teams to score? I mean, it makes sense. A little bit safer that way, I think. And then Bob in the chat throws in something I cashed with over the weekend. I'm very happy about this. Crescencio Somerville shot on target is now minus 110. It was plus 120 at the weekend, so the bookies are getting wise here.
Market's
one shot on target.
Yep.
Still playable, minus 110, but and he's done it, I believe, in 6 straight matches now. So decent shout. I thought about adding it again, but I'm not going to press my luck on that one.
Yeah, it's hard when you get plus money on it before. Tim in the chat on X saying that Iwobi side foot outside of the box. Unreal. Enjoying that goal.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, Tim Fields. Welcome. Well, Jordan, let's move on because we've got more teams in a relegation fight, and this one also in a title fight. It's Manchester City hosting Nottingham Forest. This one sees Man City as home favorites of 1.25 goals, minus 1.25. The total is set at a flat 3 here. Jordan mentioned Forest losing on the weekend. City winning in a 1-0 matchup. I believe, was that on Friday? No, that was somebody else. Saturday. What are the days anymore? There's so much soccer going on. But look, George, what do you think about this one? Both these teams need points desperately, and they're at the Etihad. Forest might be a little bit of a write-off because they don't expect to win this game, but how do you see this one shaking out?
Yeah, I think City probably win the game here. That's not really big news to anyone, I'm sure. They are minus 264 on the money line for a reason. They're at home. Forest have seen 3 defeats and 1 victory under their new manager in all competitions, Vitor Pereira. The Pereira era has not started off as nicely at Forest as it did when he took over Wolves to try and keep them up. So, yeah, I don't see them getting anything from this match, but they will be encouraged by their performance against Liverpool, where they were, in my view, pretty unlucky to lose deep into stoppage time, 1-0 at the end there. But look, I said it about Arsenal. Taking a lead and then just kind of thinking it's job done and just kind of knocking it around for a while and sitting back, absorbing pressure, and then it gets to, nerves creep in and close to bottling it. We're seeing the same thing with City. They've been strangely awful in the second halves of matches in recent weeks. They're great in the first half. Obviously needed a little bit of fortune in the Leeds match over the weekend to get a first half goal late in the first half. But in previous matches, they're getting a couple of goals in the first half and then just kind of collapsing second half and not being able to do anything really. It's odd. And because of that, I've cut the game in half here, Dev, and I'm taking City on the money line first half. City to win the first half at minus 125. That'll do it for me.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I had to figure out a way to get something on side here, and I decided to go with a prop market here, Jordan. I'm going to go with Nottingham Forest team total shots over 9.5. So to have 10 shots in the match is even money. Now, something to watch here, Forest shots. I don't know if it's like an edict coming down from the new manager, but they had a crazy game against Wolves. That was Sean Dyche's final game. They had 35 shots in that game, 10 on target.
Ended 0-0, right?
It ended 0-0. Insane. Dyche gets sacked, and since then they've had 23 shots against Fenerbahce, 18 against Liverpool, 13 against Fenerbahce, 13 against Brighton. Now on the City side of this, they've given up over 10 shots in 6 straight matches across the EFL Cup. In the Premier League, the only one they haven't was against Salford City in the FA Cup. I mean, it's Salford City. So both of these teams, should be able to hit this mark, City giving it up and Forest just letting fly. With that in mind, I try to look up some different player props to get shots on target or shots. You got to lay some juice for some of them. Morgan Gibbs-White is a great one to get a shot on target, but I believe is like minus 120. Didn't want to lay the juice on that. But wouldn't put anybody off doing that. He's done it in, I think, like 5 straight matches. But I'm just going with the team total here at even money, George. Forest to have 10 shots at even money.
Well, Dev, I like where your head's at with that. I think that's a great bet. And Discord heads will tell you the guy to take, Elliot Anderson, to have a shot in the match. Just one shot this time, fellas. Minus 125. Nico Williams to have a shot in the match. Plus 110. We've been making money hand over fist on Elliot Anderson and Nico Williams having shots since Vitor Pereira has taken over. Usually you have to have Anderson to take a couple. Williams, you want to go with a shot on target or something, but they're putting up massive shot numbers in the Pereira era. Don't be surprised if those guys make my Discord card, and probably some other guys in there as well. Love seeing it because they're playing City away. You get those prices better. Just need one shot.
Yeah, I mean, the way Forest will set up, it should lead to some shots. Now, they may not be on target. They may be wildly over the bar, but it does seem like they're just kind of have a green light at this point.
Yeah, free hit for them. As you said, they're not expecting to win this match. Just go for it. See if you can get something. Fire at will. We got Andre in the chat asking, where's the value for the Liverpool game, fellas? That was the second match we covered. Just rewind, my good man. It's on there. But we'll give our official plays for that at the end of the show.
Yeah. Just missed that one. But thanks for joining us live, brother. All right, let's move on. We've got one more matchup on Wednesday, and it's Newcastle United against Manchester United. This one's lined as a pick, and the total set at a flat 3 with all the juice on the over that 3. Jord, these two teams don't care for each other at all. They've got a little bit of a history. This dates back decades. But what do you think about this matchup? We've got two teams, seems like heading in different directions here. Newcastle's been struggling in the EPL, and Manchester United under Michael Carrick have done quite well turning their season around. But what do you think about this matchup, the Battle of Uniteds?
Well, Dev, normally I would say St. James's Park, tough place to go. But is it? Is it anymore? 3 home defeats in a row in the Premier League for Newcastle. And as you said, Dev, teams going in different directions. Manchester United doing quite well in the Carrick era. Another win for them over the weekend against Palace. Another winning goal from Benjamin Šeško, who got the start in this one, finally. I said I thought he might have killed his career because he was scoring as an impact sub in every game, so Carrick would never start him. But finally gave the guy a shot, still scored a winner, starting the match. And Dev, that's where I'm going to go with my play for this. It's going to be a Benjamin Šeško prop. I'm going to take Šeško to have 3 shots in the match. Šeško over 2.5 shots coming in at plus 105. Listen, he hasn't started a lot of games, right? But in his last 5 starts, he has 6 shots against Wolves, 3 shots against Leeds, 8 shots against Burnley, 5 shots against Brighton, and 4 shots against Palace most recently. The guy gives himself the green light all the time. Fox in the box. He gets on headers. He's massive. He shoots with both feet. Love the guy. He's also on my fantasy team, so I'm a fan. I like seeing him get starts now. If he doesn't start the match, the guy still pops off, Dev. He played 16 minutes against Fulham, 3 shots. Against West Ham, just 20 minutes, had 2 shots, and got the equalizer in stoppage time. So I just need him to have 3 shots. I'm assuming he starts again. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. He came in, he proved himself, got the winner as a starter. I think it'd be harsh to take him out and use him as a sub again. But if you are going to play it, do play it at a book where it will be voided if he does not start. Although, if you're a gambling man, even if he doesn't start, there's a chance he gets 3 shots if he gets 20 minutes or more. That's where I'm going, Dev. Kind of a fun one.
Wow. Nice, Jordan. Yeah, when you're listing off all those shots, 3 shots, 6 shots. Thought you were talking about your nightly routine with whiskey. Didn't know you were talking about Šeško. Look, Jordan, I went with Manchester United here as a pick. I went as a pick. I would not play the money line, although somebody in the chat, where is he at? Evan Reibold says, Man U plus 155 seems like a layup here. That's on the money line. I don't know if it's a layup because I could see a draw here. Newcastle United hate Manchester United, and at Newcastle, these two head-to-head, Newcastle have won 3 straight, and Man U have not won since 2020. So, you know, tread lightly there. But I'm going with the pick. It feels a little bit safer just in case it is a draw. I can push out of it. And I think at the opening of this match, that's kind of how I laid it out, how I think it's going to go. I just think Man U is in great form. They really look like it works when you play their players in the right positions. When you have Kobe Mainoo playing in the midfield next to Casemiro, allowing Bruno Fernandes to do his more natural position in the 10, it all makes a lot more sense. With the back 4, it's almost like the team was built to play that way. So that's the way I'm going with it. I don't like underrating Newcastle, but I worry about them. Injuries piling up, a lot of competitions, Champions League, a little bit of a look ahead, and the FA Cup this weekend against Manchester City. So it doesn't get any easier for Newcastle. And the Manchester United side of this, they are not in any cups, so this is all they got really to look for. So I like that pick. I feel safe with it. Minus 103. I'm willing to take it there.
That's all we got, all we need. Jack in the chat saying, is Šeško the new Ole Gunnar? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I made that comment on our last show that he's a modern day Solskjaer coming off the bench, scoring goals. But now he's getting starts, so maybe the comp doesn't last any longer. Dev, this one I was going to put to you at the end myself. We might as well do it now because Andre in the chat asked, do you guys think Arteta bottles it again? And I assume he means bottle the title race, bottle the title challenge. Dev, who do you think is going to win the title?
Well, at the beginning of the season, we asked ourselves this, George. We did this, and I said Arsenal, and I said they're going to figure it out. They're going to get it over the line. I like some of the additions they made. It seemed like they have the experience now to know that they can do this and they can figure it out. But watching them in league play is really uninspiring. They get a couple calls the wrong way. They could have lost to Chelsea outright. A couple of those, I was like, how is that not a penalty? I mean, I don't know what a penalty is. They were so reliant on set pieces. Now, I think that and their defense, which has been a little more leaky lately, but still very good. I think they have a better shot of winning the Champions League, maybe. I mean, look, they're already ahead in the Premier League, so hard to say they don't have a better chance there. But with the cakewalk of a schedule they have on that side of the bracket in the Champions League, I almost think they have a better shot at winning that than this. Especially, that game against City, that's going to be everything. What do you think? Who do you think?
So you're sticking with Arsenal, though. That's your answer, right?
Sticking with Arsenal just because they're ahead right now, but based on the form, yeah, I don't love it. Don't love it.
Yeah, well, City not showing the greatest form either. You can make the same case for them. As you said, they could have lost outright to Chelsea, Arsenal. Leeds should have had a couple of goals in that first half. And in the second, really, they had chances. And neither team totally convincing at closing out games. You do forget that they're both on for a quadruple. It is possible. It's not just the Prem. You mentioned Champions League. A lot of competitions still at play here. Dev, I'd like to see Arsenal do it. I think it's just, I think they're kind of deserving of it. They've been thereabouts the last few seasons. Hasn't gone their way. It's just kind of more fun to get a new team to win it. I'm no Arsenal fan, and I can't stand most of their supporters, but I would like just a fresh winner for a change. But I also have a plus 330 ticket on Man City to win.
I was going to say, yeah, you took Man City at the beginning of the season. You said that was your team.
Yeah. So I guess I'd be happy either way. But who do I think's going to do it? I think Arsenal's going to do it.
Yeah, it seems that way. Well, Jordan, we got one more matchup, and this is probably my favorite storyline in all the EPL. It's Tottenham Hotspur hosting Crystal Palace. This one sees Spurs as quarter goal favorites at home, and the total is set at 2.5. Oh my God, I want them to be relegated. Ooh-wee. I think it would be the best thing that could possibly happen for English football, okay, as a whole. This team goes down, a Big Six club. Nobody's safe. It doesn't matter how new your stadium is, how much money you make from Beyonce concerts there. It doesn't matter. You can still go down. All the players leave. And it starts, Spurs have nobody to blame but themselves. The way they've managed the club, the way they've dealt with managers, and just been a pathetic loser franchise club, as they're called here. But anyway, they're playing Crystal Palace. So what do you think about this one?
Dev, this, as has been the case for me with most Spurs matches lately, is a stay away. They're going to pick up points somewhere. They here have the benefit. This has to be one they circled on the calendar, right? Palace have been going in a bad way lately. If you can't get points here at home against Palace, who are struggling, where are you going to get the points, right? Like, I mean, I take that, playing in the North London derby, losing to Arsenal 4-1 isn't necessarily an indicator of how you're going to do trying to stay up. But I kind of thought they'd show something more in that one, right? Because that's their bitter rivals. They have to get points not only to stay up, but to derail Arsenal's title challenge. And they were no-shows. However, had they scored that second goal, which I think should have stood, maybe it's a different story. I do feel bad for them in the sense that their injury list is ridiculous. Maybe that's their own fault too. I don't know. Used to blame Ange for that, but now it's been a couple of different managers and they're still having issues. But again, they got to get points from somewhere. They're going to win a game at some point. Probably just need a couple more wins to ensure safety. Maybe this is one of them, but I can't bet them. I'm not going to do it. So stay away from me. What do you got?
Yeah, maybe I'm getting too excited. I stayed off Spurs Fulham of the weekend, even though I wanted to back Fulham so badly. We stayed away from that match because I thought maybe there'd be like an Igor Tudor new manager bounce. Arsenal, one of the best teams in Europe. Okay, sure, you get waxed by them, whatever. North London derby aside. But to lose to Fulham are good and fun to watch, but I don't think Igor Tudor is a good coach. He's never been in the Premier League. So now he thinks he can come in here and he's going to save this team from relegation fight. That's only going to get worse. This is the last match of the game week. So if somehow West Ham picks up 3 points, if maybe Nottingham Forest can get a point off City, that seat's going to get really, really hot. And those players are going to feel the pressure. They're already garbage at home. They have no fan support. The fans will turn on them quickly, as we've already seen start to happen this season. They're still missing Christian Romero through suspension. I don't understand how he's suspended for so long. It must have been, I don't know. He's out again. They're deputizing Archie Gray at left back. So I'm going to move this line. You could play this plus a quarter of a goal, probably what I should have done, because I could see a draw here. But I'm going to take it as a pick on the Asian handicap, 0.0, if you will, plus 120 for Crystal Palace. I think Glasner is still a really good coach, even if he probably wants to leave that job as well. I think Tudor is getting found out. The defense is not any good for Spurs. They don't have an identity. I don't know how they play. They don't have any star players except maybe Mickey Van de Ven, who's fit, I should say, and or Dominic Solanke up top. I think he's maybe a star player. Let's not forget this is a revenge game. Brennan Johnson coming back home to Spurs. I was looking at his props. Nothing that appetizing, though. In a game that I think could definitely go under. I didn't want to take a goal scorer, so I'm just going to go with Palace here. Draw no bet at plus 120.
Yeah, I like the plus money there, Dev. You'll be happy with the push, should you get it. But yeah, I think that's fair enough. We've got Jack in the chat again here saying, if ever a match was handbags, it's this one. Jack, not getting the memo that you can't say that publicly anymore. It was in 2020, I believe, that the pundit, forget his name now, the BBC pundit, described a match as handbags, and he got suspended for it. He said it's sexist. Can't say that anymore. But we know Jack. He's old. So.
Oh wow, yeah. I had no idea what you were talking about until you said it was sexist. I was like, oh, handbags. Like it's like, ew, I've got my handbag. Okay.
Women fighting, hitting each other with their handbags. Yeah. And
yeah,
of course, now we've done that, which is even worse. Yeah.
I actually would be cautious on the total here. I was looking at the under, but if you look at these teams' XG over the last 5 games, they both in their combined matches have put up over. There's been over 2.5 XG in each of those games. So maybe a little bit of unluckiness. So yeah, just be cautious. I'm going with the side there, Jordan. And look, that's going to do it for us. That's all the EPL games we're covering. We'll be back on Thursday for more weekend action. It's FA Cup, but there are the other European domestic leagues in action. And of course, 1 week from today, Jord, it's the champions. The champions. We'll be back for that. So excited to break that down, talk about that. Already seeing some really delicious bets for that one. But look, Jord, that's next week. We're on to the EPL this week, but before we get out of here, there's something we got to do.
We do indeed, Dev, because it's one thing to talk about these matches, and it's quite another to put our money where our mouths are and pay the bookie.
Chuck, I'm going to tell you something. You have that fucking 200 in my hands tomorrow. If you ain't got the 200 in my fucking hands tomorrow, I'll break every fucking bone in your body.
All right, well, let's throw these official plays up on the screen. We'll read them out for the podcast listeners. I've got Bournemouth and Brentford over 3 goals on the Asian total at even money. Liverpool to win against Wolverhampton, parlayed with Liverpool most corners in the match at plus 120. Fulham, West Ham, the classic, both teams to score and over 2.5 goals at even money. Nottingham Forest against Manchester City, team total shots over 9.5 at even money. I've got Manchester United as a pick, minus 108. I've got Crystal Palace as a pick, plus 120. What do you got, Jordan?
Dev, I've got both teams to score and over 2.5 in Bournemouth Brentford, minus 125. I've got Wolves plus 1.5 on the Asian handicap, minus 129. I've got Arsenal to win the match with over 1.5 first half corners for the Gunners, plus 105. West Ham United double chance and over 1.5 goals in the match, plus 110. Manchester City to win the first half, minus 125. And Benjamin Šeško over 2.5 shots at plus 105.
All right. Thank you so much, Jordan. That's going to do it for us, guys. If you're still watching, we do appreciate it. Throw up a like on this video. If you're looking at it on YouTube or X or wherever, helps us out. We do appreciate that. And if you're new to the show, consider giving us a follow, a subscribe. You can leave a review on your favorite podcast app, and we will read it out on the show. We'd love to hear from you, and that helps us grow as well. We do appreciate all of that. And Jordan, any last words for the people?
Well, first I'll answer Evan's question. I saw that. Where does the Chuck line come from when we pay the bookie? That comes from we clipped it from a documentary on Netflix called Fear City about the New York mob, modern day mob. And that's actually the intro to the first episode. Pretty hilarious. But no, that's a real dude. Real bad guy. I don't know his name, but you can actually look it up. Don't have the time for that though. And then Evan says, good luck all. And yes, good luck indeed. Bet responsibly, please. Always, guys, manage those bankrolls. As Dev said, we got a ton of soccer coming up, and it's a World Cup year. So manage those bankrolls. Hopefully we can increase those bankrolls as we get to the summer. It has been, I think, 4 winning shows on the bounce. Admittedly,
don't say it out loud. Don't say it out loud, Jordan.
Mostly due to Devin's heavy lifting with some big plus money bangers. My pushes certainly didn't help. But yeah, look, let's make some money.
Let's make some money.